Hey, what's up? It's Trevor again. And if you're watching this, first of all, congratulations on getting your brand new site. You should have been emailed from your coach, probably me, about your new site that's been all designed and set up. And actually, what you're seeing here on my screen right now is a site we recently had our designers set up, and so we're going to kind of be using this as an example. But the point of this video right here is to give you kind of a game plan on what to do now that your website is designed. Now, first of all, let me make a point. When our team does a site design like this, they do a lot of work. These aren't cookie cutter sites. These are custom done sites with a lot of custom work done, custom logos. The images like you're seeing here that are kind of sliding in the banner, these are registered purchased images that are licensed to you, that we bought. There's just a lot of work that goes into this. I mean, if you don't know much about web design, it's probably hard to appreciate the time, effort, energy, and creativity that goes into these. But they do a good job. They do a really good job. For me, I'm not much of a car person or a mechanic. I'm one of those guys where if my check engine light comes on, I don't have the first idea of what to do, so I run it down to my mechanic and I have them look under the hood and tell me what's going on. And usually they'll come and they'll get back to me and they'll say, hey, well, you've got this hose that's broken or leaking, or this part of your engine, the spark plugs or the coils are aging, and I have no idea what they're even talking about, right? And I simply just pay up and have them do whatever work they have to do on my car. But I've learned to appreciate it a little bit, as I've had work done on cars over the years, and I think you guys will feel the same about your website. Even though you don't know much about this kind of thing, you'll learn to appreciate how much work goes into it. So at this point, what do you do? Like, what's the plan? Well, the first thing we usually have you do is I would have likely sent you a little survey that we want you to fill out, that basically gives some direct feedback to our designers. Okay, so let's actually make a list here. I've got this little note document in front of me. I'm going to say game plan once site is designed is what we'll call this. Okay, and so I'm going to say step one is going to be fill out the survey that Trevor sends you. Okay. It's a short survey. Just asks what you like or don't like about the site. Do you like the direction it's going? I would encourage you to get on your site and just click around and see kind of how it looks. Look at what a product page looks like. Test its functionality. Make sure you like the way it looks, so on and so forth. Our team is really good to help make changes where they make sense. So we're happy to get in there and adjust things if they make sense. Now, I've had some requests over the years for stuff that I knew wasn't going to be good for the site. Here's a good example of this. So if you look at this website, you'll notice there's a nice, clean, white background. I've had clients say, Trevor, I want my background to be black and my text to be white. And in very few cases would I ever agree to that, because it is proven time and time again that a clean white background on a website will convert visitors into buyers better than anything else. Or I've had some clients want to use some really sort of scripty fonts and text fonts that didn't really look great. And of course, we push back on that a little bit. So if you're requesting something to be done that we don't agree with, we're going to tell you, right? We're going to tell you, not because we don't mind doing the work, but because I don't want you to get a site out there that struggles to close sales. But if it's a change that's no big deal, hey, we're happy to adjust and to fix and to improve. So we rely on that survey a little bit for that. And of course, you can talk to me about it directly, and I'll talk to our design team. So that's point number one there. Point number two is when you get a website that gets created like this, I'm going to say you are now the target of sales calls. So be careful, okay? So once your site, and maybe not the second it gets designed, but the minute we launch the site, you're going to start getting sales calls. And again, I don't know how some people will get your contact information. I know sometimes they can sort of reverse engineer some things to find your information through your domain name. We're not entirely sure, but I just be careful, because at this stage, there's not too many people that I'm ever going to recommend to call you. It's usually just going to be me. And if somebody does claim that they're calling on behalf of my team or our web design department, immediately be skeptical and immediately contact me and just say, hey, Trevor, are these people legit? You'll get emails, you'll get phone calls, because you're now the target of marketing companies and design companies, because you're just primed to spend money on those kind of services because you've got this brand new site. It's a bit like, I remember years ago when my wife and I bought a brand new house, and we used to get sales guys that would knock on our doors all the time trying to sell us pest control and water softening services and alarm services and solar panels, and we were a target for that because we had a brand new home, and that was a good target market for those sales companies. You're now at a mark for marketing companies, so be careful about that, and let's not waste money. Let's not waste money. Let's not get confused. Okay. All right. So that's number 2. Going along the list here. So we got this site. Now what? It's time for you to learn how to use it. Okay. So I've got a training that I'll provide you that's going to give you kind of a walkthrough of how to use your site. We're going to teach you how to sort of use the back end of the site here, and how to be a site administrator. That's your job. Your job wasn't to set up the site. That's what we do. Your job is just to know how to use it and manage it. So feel free to get in here and use it and play with it. And if you break something or something's not working right, the expectation is you're gonna contact me, and we're gonna help you out with it. The other thing that I'll maybe put in parentheses here is I'm gonna say use screen share with me. Okay, so that would be like AnyDesk or TeamViewer, Mikogo, etc. These are screen sharing programs that, at times if you're stuck and you don't really know what you're doing on the website, I'm going to have a really hard time helping you unless I can see your computer screen. And for me to be able to do that, you need to have one of these programs downloaded. Now, we may already be using that already if you're at this point, but if you haven't downloaded one of them, do it so that when we talk and you've got a problem, I can just log right into your screen and give you a hand with the site. Okay. All right. So that's sort of the preliminary stuff. Let's talk about now what, right? After you understand this stuff, okay, now what do I do with my site? So number 1 is I want you to learn how to add and edit categories on the website. Okay. Most of these sites, when they get done, our designers don't do a lot with categories. They want you to do that because they've set up a system where it's easy. Notice on this website, I'm going to grab my pen here. Let me grab a red font. You'll notice how the style on a lot of our sites is logo to the left. Okay, now that's common with the way a lot of sites work. Categories should fill this section right here. Okay. Right, that we can add, but you'll notice like we just created one all products category for this site, but there should be multiple categories running across the top, and you can have subcategories there. We want to make the site easy to navigate when somebody gets here. So I want you to think hard about what are some of your main categories. What do you want to carry on the site? Let's organize it really well and be thoughtful about the way we do that. Let me see if I can find a good example of a site that does that well. Yeah, this one's not bad. So you see how they've set up their categories on this site? See how it fills this space really well? They could actually probably create another row of categories here if they wanted. I'm trying to think of a site that has some subcategories that I can show you. Hold on just a sec. I'm sort of just doing this on the fly, guys, so I apologize If it seems like I'm a little unorganized, I'm really not, but I am unorganized with having an example site that I want to show you. Let's see. Let me try this one. Hold on. This is a good example. Okay, here, let me show you this. Okay, so check this out. This is called Own the Cup Golf. And you'll notice their categories running across the top here. Notice on accessories, they actually have some drop-down menus here. Same with Shop by Brand. They've got some drop-down menus here. Now, I'm not saying every site's going to be this elaborate in their category layout, but these are examples of some of the stuff you can do. So going back to what I was saying a minute ago, I want you to learn how to add and edit categories, and we'll have trainings for that. Okay. Number 2, we want you to add products to your website. Now, of course, the question is, how many, or from where? So let me answer the from where first. From where should be if you have any suppliers that are already set up with, or you're already set up with those suppliers, you can use their products on the site. A lot of my clients, when they first get their site out like this, they don't have supplier relationships yet, because that sometimes comes a little bit later once you've launched your site. You've heard me say this a million times, but I'll say it again. A lot of the better suppliers out there, or the best suppliers, I should say, want to see your website launched before they'll actually, let you work with them. So anyway, don't be frustrated if you don't have a source yet. But nonetheless, I still need you to get products on your site, because how are we supposed to launch this thing and at least have it ready for the public if there's nothing on it, right? So the plan should be use Amazon. Use Amazon or some other retailer to load some products up on your site. As to how many, I would say at a minimum 100. I typically like to have my clients do many more than that, 200-300 maybe. Like, I really want this site to be robust and have a lot on it. I don't want you to take on the appearance of being brand new. It's like opening up a brand new store, but most of the shelves are empty, right? Who wants to shop a store like that? We want to be stocked up, and even if it's not with products that you're going to carry on your site long term, maybe it's just for the express purpose of, getting to the next step. So you load it up with some Amazon stuff, you launch it, you go out later, find some other suppliers, and then you replace most of that stuff. Although I got to be honest, a lot of my stuff on sites, I'll use some Amazon, and I'll use them to fill in some of the gaps, and I'll keep them forever and ever. It's not a bad thing to have some Amazon products. So that's what I want to see, 1 to 400 products ish, I'm going to say. Yeah, that's going to comprise probably the next couple of weeks worth of time. One thing I will say about products, we actually have a product adding team here in my office that I wanted to tell you about. And I'm going to put this web address. Let me just copy this and paste it here. Okay. There's the web address. I'll leave it on the screen for just a minute. I know some of you guys are going to struggle with product adding. It's just true. Statistically, I have probably, I don't know, half of you that really are slow at product adding. And that's not a knock on you. You're just getting started, right? You're just learning this stuff. But if you're not as technically inclined, sometimes the product adding is a little bit slower. Now, we have to have you learn it no matter what. You need to learn how to do product adding. So we're going to teach you how to do it. But if you are really, really slow, it might be preventative to us. It might hurt our progress a bit, because you're going to be adding products for the next many weeks, right? Before we launch the site. We can't launch the site until your products are on there. So what do you do about that? Well, for a lot of years, we didn't do anything. I just kept working with my clients, and we just slowly plodded along and got the products added. We recently, within the last probably 12 months or so, we've internally we've hired some people that do product adding for our clients. Now, this isn't some kind of sales pitch. I don't actually care if you have our team help out with product adding or if you do it. Either way, it's fine. I mean, A, I definitely need to have you learn it so you know it, but B, if you're kind of like, I want to hustle this along, you can use my product adding team and they'll add a ton of stuff for you. Now, primarily they add from Amazon. So I know they can add from suppliers, but they primarily will add products from Amazon. They'll do it at about $2 a product. So, you know, you just have to do the math. You know, a lot of you who are a little slower at product adding, it could take you 20 minutes a product, right, when you're first getting started with this. So that means you're adding 3 products in an hour. Well, these guys are doing 2 products, or they're doing a product for $2. So, you know, do the math on that. If it takes you, you know, an hour to do 3 products, you just have to ask yourself, you know, is my time worth more or less than $6 an hour? Because that's about what you'd be paying them to do products, right? So they can come on and they can do as many as you want. You can come in here and you can say, okay, I want the product team to add, you know, 150, and let's have them do two orders of 150. Let's have them add 300 products, and you can hit add to cart, check out, and pay for it. Okay. Usually their turnaround time is, I'd say, 2 or 3 days max. They're quick at it. That's part of what you're paying for, is to hire a team just to get on there and speedily add products for you. They'll pick them out too. They'll go onto Amazon. They'll grab good, high-performing products with good ratings, and they'll grab all the images for you. Even if a product on Amazon has 8 images, they'll grab them all. So it's actually a really good value. It's not something we're looking to make a bunch of money on. It's more of just a courtesy to our clients. If you're slower at adding products, we're going to give you an opportunity here just to use our team. Sure, it costs a little bit of money, but what's your time worth, right? And if you're in a spot where absolutely you can't afford to spend even another dollar on the business, I get that. So no pressure. We'll just slowly plot along and add products together. But I wanted to make sure you guys knew that was an option. So back to my notes here. If you'll just look here, this is the URL, ementorbuild.com/p/adding-products, and you're more than welcome to use that. Okay. All right. So number 3, once we got our products added, the next thing we need to do is what I call our info pages. Okay. Now there's 4 of them. There's an about us, contact us, shipping, and returns. Those 4 pages. Now on your site, you'll notice most of you guys will have built those pages for you. They're already built. They're already set up. But we kind of expect you to go in and actually edit them a little bit so that they make sense. Okay, so here's an example of the About Us page on this site. Here's a contact page. You know, it's some content that we've written up, but we'd like you to go in and edit, because we know every group is different, every industry and website is different, and your suppliers are different, your policies are different. So we want to make sure we get those info pages done. And I'll have instructions on those for you to review, okay? So those are your info pages. That shouldn't take you too long, okay? Once those are done, we need to set up merchanting / do a test order on the site. We need to make sure that your shopping cart works, right? So if somebody comes onto this site and finds a product, let's just grab this little set of orange luggage, and they come in and they add it to the cart, and they go to checkout, we need to make sure that it actually works, that the money actually goes to you. And you know, that's something we want to do before we launch. So I've got a training on that. We'll explain how to do that, but we need to set that up very quick. That doesn't take too long. And then number 5, and this is sort of the last step before we can launch, we need to connect your domain name. Okay, now that may have already been done, so I'm going to say maybe in it with a question mark. Sometimes I'll do that with you while we're working on the site, while you're doing these other steps, you know, 1 through 4 here. And other times I'll wait till the end. But what I mean by connect your domain name is if you've registered one, we need to make sure it actually connects to the site and that it's live. A lot of times I'll send you like a build.ementorbuild / your domain. It's kind of a funny address. We call it a temporary address. Sometimes I'll send that to you, and that's what you'll be working on. And then once we've done all this, it's like, okay, well, let's get rid of that address and let's actually connect it to, like in this case, Irish Bag Buys, right? But notice this is their address up here right now. Notice how it's build.ementorbuild.com/Irish Bag Buys. So you can see they're going to need their domain connected. So that will eliminate build.ementorbuild, but it'll leave them just with irishbagbuys.com, and then their site will be live. So I'll give you instructions on that. We'll connect your domain name, and then the site will go live. And usually to connect the domain name and to get all that done, it's like 24 to 48 business hours, and then we can launch. And then again, what now after launch? Well, that's marketing. Okay, that's when we get into marketing, and I'm not going to cover marketing right now. The idea here is just I want to give you a game plan for how to get your site off the ground and launched. I mean, our team did a lot of work doing the design, and that's I mean, you're paying professional designers to do that. That's what they do, and they do it well. But you still have some work here, right? You still need to learn how to do some of this stuff, and we're going to teach that to you. So anyway, I hope that makes sense. I mean, a lot of this is plug and play. I mean, we tell our clients this is pretty turnkey. I mean, we go quick. The big thing is for our clients, design is hard, and if you don't have any experience in it, it's almost impossible for you to do it well. But this stuff right here, this 1 through 5, this stuff's not hard. This is stuff you can learn to do. We can teach you how to do it. You don't have to have any experience at all to be able to manage one of these websites. So we're going to walk you through that whole process. Now, I might be missing a couple of little nuances here. We'll need to talk about, getting your email set up and, well, how do you manage orders? And I've got trainings for all of that. But if you can get these things done with my help, you can usually have your site up within a couple of weeks, maybe sooner. I mean, a lot of times I get the question, how long is this going to take to launch? I don't know. Depends on you in a lot of ways. I've had clients get through this stuff in a couple of days, and I've had some take a month, right? So depends on you, but if you want to move fast, we can definitely move fast. I just don't want to move too fast to where you don't learn it. We want to make sure you learn how to do this and that you're ready to go. So that's it. That's your game plan. Again, congrats. You've got a site now. We've got to just polish up a few things. Let's get it launched. We'll get into the marketing phase. We'll see if we can get some traffic and some sales at that point, and then you'll be off to the races. So if you have any questions, obviously you know where to find me. Contact me, email me. Hopefully this makes sense, and good luck working on your site.